I've been thinking a lot about resilience this year. I want to sincerely thank the Secretary for opening our virtual summit. I think of her as somebody who embodies this word. We've all had a challenging time over this past year personally, ranging from difficult to tragic. Through all of this, we and our performers have achieved a striking amount, and I wanted to share some thoughts with you about why that is. I'm sure you've noticed by now that we are not in the Gaylord Conference Center. We are so thankful that you are here with us today, and we've put together a full event with multiple kinds of programming using a virtual conference tool that aims to encourage networking, so please use it. I consider this summit to be a celebration of this agency, of our performers, and of everyone who has supported us. And now I want to describe how we're all resilient together. Many of you are familiar with this slide, how ARPA-E came about and why. All I want to do here is point you towards a few numbers. Almost 1,200 awards. I think that's more than double when I started at the agency. That's an amazing number, and I think we should all celebrate that. I've also inserted a funding graph line showing how the agency has grown with time. All I'm going to say about that is, well, I don't see any zeros on there. In one slide, this is what we're all about, and this is germane to the theme of resilience. In order to create true disruptive change, you have to take a lot of shots on goal. You have to be comfortable with the fact that many won't get there. You also have to be comfortable with the amount of time it takes until this disruptiveness is apparent, and I'm going to show you a specific example of this later. This is all incredibly important to us, and the very structure of the agency is set up to enable it. To me, there are really three characteristics of ARPA-E that are, quite frankly, why I think we're still around, and this is what I wanted to share with you today. First, it's because of our shared mission. We are lucky enough to have a mission that's quite broad, and we are empowered to work where we need to within it. But we ask ourselves all the time, how does this relate to our mission? What would impact look like quantitatively to our mission? We take this very seriously, and it drives us all towards the same overarching goal, ensuring the economic and energy security of the United States while maintaining our global technology competitiveness. We believe in this really strongly, and this is just absolutely crucial for us. Second, it's because of our culture. We have a unique culture because of how we are set up at this agency. We are a very small agency. We have a very lean sort of management structure, and we have a great diversity of backgrounds, technology areas, styles, origin, etc. This is crucial. And the reason we can do this is because we're all term limited. We have new people coming in all the time who have different experiences, different ideas that they bring to the agency. And because of the term limits, because of this shared mission, we can be truly collaborative. There is nothing set up here to make us competitive. And, we pressure test each other's ideas all the time. We pitch our ideas to each other. It is absolutely essential that we maintain this collaborative culture. We also have comfort with risk and ambiguity. Trust is essential, not just of ourselves between each other, but other people need to trust the agency because they don't tell us what to spend our money on. We have a mission and we decide what to spend the money on in order to meet that mission. And overall, we need to be flexible. We have active portfolio management. We know that, sometimes we have to change things, pivot things, learn about when we fail, and do this all usefully. It is extremely important that we maintain this culture very mindfully and in a very deliberative way. It is not easy as you grow as an organization to maintain this. We are committed to it, and this is another extremely important thing. But maybe the most important thing, that is you. You share our vision, you work with us, and you believe in us, and literally you. We have over 2,400 attendees at this virtual summit. We appreciate all of you. You're our performers, you're our stakeholders, you're investors, you're from other parts of the government, you're people who want to use these technologies, you're people that are passionate about innovation. We have over 400 of our performer project teams here. And this is so much fun. You're going to be able to see what they all do. We also have strong bipartisan support, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. I mean, that is why we're still here too. All of the previous directors, program directors, tech to market fellows, and staff were resilient because of the people that work here. And, I really just want to thank every director that has ever been at ARPA-E. This place is amazing because of all of you. I'll give a particular shout out to Lane Janitowski, who was our most recent director last year. Under him during this extremely trying year, we obligated over $400 million. And I think that really says something about the agency. Now let's shift a bit. What I want to show you is a very high level snapshot of the agency, sort of a who, what, when, where, how type of a thing. So I said it was going to be high level. Who are our performers? Well, take a look. There's a lot of small businesses on here. There's a lot of universities on here. And a lot of these universities form small businesses to take their technology forward. There is a very good reason for this. It's often the best fit for high risk research. You have to be nimble. You have to be agile. Of course, we also have nonprofits in red, large business in purple, and FFRDCs in blue. And often these different institutions partner together on one project team, forming these incredibly strong and diverse teams. And I think it's very important that they are able to do that. And that is, again, a sort of a core strength of the agency. All right, so what do? People ask me this all the time. There's a reason I didn't include a legend here. The message is, look at all the pretty colors, or a little more specifically, due to our term limits, empowerment, and very broad mandate, we are able to quickly respond in an agile way to fulfill our mission and solve the energy needs of this country, especially as those needs change with time. Note, early on, we had a very strong showing in batteries for electric vehicles. And that has, without question, resulted in disruptive change that is quite apparent today. Compare that to something like generation, which was not as prominently featured early on. Remember, for example, solar was already a very mature field then, but it increased as we realized the crucial need for energy sources, such as advanced nuclear, offshore wind, tidal and riverine power, for example. I mean, there's many examples for this. For example, yellow is grid. And as we have increased the percentage of renewables on the grid and face new climate challenges, there have been new and increasing needs across the grid space, whether it's hardware, controls, systems optimization, so many things. In fact, I'm going to take a technical example pertinent to quite a bit of this grid hardware, just to give you an idea of what we look for. So let's look at our area of power electronics. This includes things like semiconductor materials and processing. For those of you who know me, this is one of my personal favorite things. And there's multiple application areas where disruptive technology was needed. Power electronics touch so many different application spaces. Any kind of really power conversion, what's going on in the back of your solar panels, transportation power conversion, like fast charging, for example, data center energy usage, other kinds of grid hardware and circuit breakers, et cetera, et cetera. So we really have a broad, let's say, portfolio in this space. But look at the amount of money we've put in here, which is the light blue on the bottom. It's not a ton of money when you actually look at the field in general, right? But this money was targeted on exactly what the needs were by the program directors. This is what our program development process determines. And it resulted in direct private sector follow-on funding of about double, but this doesn't include public sector follow-on funding, by the way. But if you look at the field, it catalyzed the entire field as measured by investment in a truly disruptive way. I am not saying that all of that was due just to these ARPA-E programs, but what I am saying is, again, they have sort of catalyzed the field. They have made new things possible that other people built on and other people built on. And this is a disruptive curve. And this is what we look for. Where are we? I am very proud of this map. And it has been, honestly, a personal mission of mine to continue the push towards truly complete geographic diversity. It is our job to continue to reach out to more folks so they know about us, both to recruit a diverse staff, but also encourage a diverse slate of performers. Honestly, this is one of the reasons we are all here today. If you know people who you think would be interested in the agency, please reach out to them, get the word out. Yes, more people know about us now, but still we're small and not everybody does. And, I've talked to some people sometimes, and I just want to put this message out there. Don't second guess yourself. We want to hear from you. You have an interesting idea you want to submit to one of our open FOAs, do it. You're interested in maybe working at the agency, look into it. Step outside of your comfort zone, because that's what we're all about. A little bit about how. This portfolio is even more complex now, with our recent programs in methane abatement, synthetic biology, and enabling advanced nuclear reactor fuel cycles. There isn't time to go into it in depth, but I wanted to draw your attention to the new kinds of funding vehicles we have developed, and that we've been flexible enough to develop these in response to the needs we saw for our teams, especially regarding impact. You're going to hear more about the new scale-up program on Thursday, along with the system we use for measuring our various impacts, some of which you heard Secretary Granholm mention earlier. So definitely catch that. It's going to be amazing. Scale up is a really important thing that we did in order to enable our teams to jump over the next valley of death. Unfortunately, there seems to be more than one of them. So just for fun, this is a word map of all of our FOA titles and all of our performers project titles. Take a look, talk about breadth of technologies, and this is just sort of the first 11 years. Can you imagine what this is going to look like in the next 11 years? So I challenge you, if you are passionate about innovation that suits our mission that you don't see here, think about how you can become involved. Think about joining the agency. You'll see more information about that in our special programming in the next few days. This changes all the time. Think about how you can make it change too. Now, finally, it's my talk, so I get to put a quote from my favorite song ever in here, which honestly is what this talk has been all about. We need to be flexible in order to be resilient. Let's celebrate our collective strength, our collective resilience. Let's get out there, bend things, and break things to save the world. Thanks for listening. Now it is time for our first speakers. It is my great pleasure to welcome Apple Vice President for Environment, Policy, and Social Initiatives, and also former EPA Director, Lisa Jackson. And joining her in a fireside chat, it's my honor to welcome, again, the U.S. Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm.